I'm privileged to announce the entry of the Honorable Minister of Police Affairs, Excellencies Muhammad Dingyadi. Let us begin standing for the second stanza of the national anthem, please. Look at it. Thank you very much. Seated. The Honorable Minister of Police Affairs, His Excellency Muhammad Dingyadi, Special Assistants, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, you are all welcome to the Minister of Police Affairs. Today, the Honorable Minister of Police Affairs, Public Complaints Committee, PPC, you all agree with me that this is an epoch-making event that will higher authority. It is an effective service delivery committee that will create decorum.
Which is the inauguration of the Police Public Complaints Committee. This inauguration that we're having today of this complaints committee is in furtherance of government's promise to ensure that more platform is made available to citizens where they can vent their complaints when they get punished or when they feel that their rights have been abridged by police officers. This is part of the fallout of the NSAS protest we had last year, where government has promised to ensure that a lot of things are changed and reform is implemented across the police services. Under the able leadership and distinguished Honorable Minister, Alhaji Mohammed Dingyadi, Minister of Police Affairs, took the cue from Mr. President's address on 22nd October 2020 on the need for us to continue to improve and ensure good governance and to ensure that democratic processes are sustained across board. Thus, our gathering is an attempt to help to revamp the police as a public institution and to ensure the protection of fundamental human rights of our citizens. The Nigerian Police Force, as a public institution, is in place to serve the people. Therefore, those that have been lucky to be recruited to man all public institutions and are paid from public funds have to ensure that they are citizen-centered in their approach at all times, and they must operate within the ambit of the law and be guided by approved standard operating procedures. We know that some of these people are human beings. I mean, we're all human beings, and so they can be prone to error, and that is why there must be safety valves and opportunities for remedy of such errors when they occur. The Police Public Complaints Committee, which we are gathered to inaugurate today, is one of such opportunities, one of such platforms, to ensure the protection of people's rights wherever there seems to have been infringement on their rights, or wherever there seems to have been abuse of power, particularly by police officers in the course of discharge of their duties. The Ministry of Police Affairs is willing and resolved to ensure that the Nigerian Police Force is reformed and repositioned to serve Nigerians better. At the same time, the ministry is also poised to ensure that law-abiding citizens of this country of ours do not get unnecessarily molested or maltreated in whatever circumstances by the Nigerian police officers. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, let me emphasize that we all know that nation building is a continuous exercise. It is not something that is done overnight. And we encourage every one of us that all hands must be on deck and there must be concerted effort for us to rebuild our nation together. I therefore want to seize this opportunity to enjoin you all to support the ministry in this process as we bring this PPCC into fruition to discharge its mandate as an oversight in the conduct of police personnel. Our doors will remain open to receive constructive engagements that can help to improve the services of this committee when it is inaugurated and when it goes into full operation. On behalf of the Honorable Minister, therefore, I welcome you all to this event, and I thank you for finding time within your position to join us. Good afternoon and welcome.
It's a pleasure to address you today on this auspicious occasion of the inauguration of the Police Public Complaints Committee of the Ministry of Police Affairs. Without doubt, the memory of the recent ugly events that the nationwide protest tagged End SARS protests are still lingering on in our minds. For almost 2 weeks in October 2020, Nigerian youth, angered by insistent incidents of police brutality, took to the streets to register their frustration and to, among other things, demand the scrapping of Special Anti-Robbery Squad, that is SARS. Unfortunately, hoodlums soon hijacked what started as a peaceful and organized protest to wreak havoc nationwide. The attendant effect was that public and private properties such as police stations, police barracks, office buildings, shopping malls, correctional centers, private buildings, etc., were looted and burned down, and lives were unfortunately lost too in the ensuring melee brought about by the need to restore normalcy by the law enforcement agencies. In his characteristic manner of being a listening leader, Mr. President promptly took several steps, not just to assuage Nigerian youth, but to also guarantee peace, tranquility, and restoration of orderliness. For record purposes, permit me, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, to mention the actions taken by government on some of these developments. On receiving the 5-point demands of Nigerian youth, the President expressly stated that he acknowledged the genuine concerns and agitations of members of the public regarding the excessive use of force by some members of SARS. He consequently directed the scrapping of that police unit and also put pressure in place to address the other demands of the youth. Mr. President followed up also to address the nation on the issue on the 22nd October 2020 and again reaffirmed the constitutional right of Nigerians to embark on peaceful demonstration. The National Economic Council, under the chairmanship of the Vice President, held an emergency meeting and set up a special committee to engage youth, civil society organizations, religious and traditional rulers on deeper issues surrounding the national unrest. The committee was, among other things, charged with the development of a framework on how the federal and state governments will respond in future to the fundamental issues underlying the protests and arrive at effective solutions, including how to enhance Nigeria's national security. The federal government also directed all the 36 states of the Federation to set up judicial investigative panels to receive complaints from the aggrieved Nigerians on police brutality and to recommend ways of assuaging the pains and losses of victims of police brutality. I'm happy to note that virtually all the states' investigating panels are currently sitting, and many are at the advanced stage of completing their assignment. It is pertinent to also add that all these actions were hinged on the ongoing reform of Nigerian police earlier announced by Mr. President long before the NSAS protest. Ladies and gentlemen, I consider it necessary to do this recapitulation to refresh our memories on what this administration has done so far on this issue. Our gathering here today, this afternoon, dovetailed the previous actions just listed. Thus, we are here today to inaugurate the Police Public Complaints Committee. The idea is to put in place a permanent structure that will help to effectively nip in the bud civil unrests with the undesirable or concomitant effects and destructive tendencies by providing the populace with opportunities to channel their grievances on the misconduct of police personnel to the appropriate quarters for necessary action. I wish to also, at this juncture, recall my address to the National Assembly during the defense of the Ministry's 2021 budget to the effect that the PPCC would be reactivated to investigate all complaints involving police personnel and members of the public. It is good to note that the PPCC had been in existence for long, but over the years became moribund due to lack of funds. Indeed, if the PPCC had been inactive, it would have provided adequate channel through which affected Nigerians would have been ventilating their grievances on police brutality, and the strategy which befell the nation late last year might have been averted. This administration is therefore determined that such ugly instances would never occur again. While there is a public complaints commission that deals generally with all kinds of complaints against administration injustice by public institutions, the Police Public Complaints Committee, which we are inaugurating today, is created as a special institution to deal strictly with public complaints against police personnel. Needless to say that this practice is obtainable in many parts, in many advanced nations of the world. The composition of this committee is as follows. 1. Ministry of Police Affairs will serve as the chairman of this committee. Police Service Commission as a member. Ministry of Justice as a member. National Human Rights Commission as a member. National Intelligence Agency also as a member. Non-governmental organization, that is to say Clean Foundation, is also a member. The Nigerian Police Force. Police Community Relations Committee, that's the PCRC. Department of State Services, and the Police Inspectorate Department of the Ministry will provide the secretariat for this committee. The overriding objective of the PPCC is to serve as an institution that has oversight on the activities of police personnel vis-à-vis their interaction with the public. It is obvious that the current habit of the public lodging complaints against the police personnel at police stations or at various police commands have not given the desired solutions to aggrieved Nigerians. Once the PPCC becomes operational, I would expect it to swing into action by embarking on wide publicity and sensitization campaigns to enable Nigerians be aware of its existence and its functions, and thereby recognize it as a proper avenue to channel their complaints against police personnel. The committee is also expected to create a platform and special dedicated phone numbers through which the public can channel their complaints. I would like to see that the PPCC decentralizes its structure to ensure that Nigerians have easy access to it. For instance, the PCC may even consider opening channels of communication at all local government headquarters for this purpose. The PPCC is designed to have a subcommittee to be known as Special Investigation Unit, SIU. This will be made up of professionals who will be charged with the responsibility of in-depth analysis and the thorough investigation of every case brought before it and provide recommendations accordingly. By the provisions of the 1999 Constitution, we are all aware that the power to discipline police officers lies with the Police Service Commission. Therefore, whatever disciplinary actions is going to be taken will be referred to the Police Service Commission for final action after a thorough investigation of the matter. I charge the committee to work assiduously and in a transparent manner as to give confidence to Nigerians that their complaints will be attended to by a fair, just and equitable system. The committee is not out to hunt the men and officers of the Nigerian Police Force. Rather, it is to work in synergy with the police to ensure it carries out its mandate effectively. I therefore charge the members of the PPCC to rise above board in the discharge of their duty. Government is committed to support the PPCC in every possible way to help it achieve its mandate. On this note, it is therefore my singular honor and pleasure to inaugurate the Police Public Complaints Committee. I wish you all the best and I wish you good luck. Thank you and God bless you.